They call this color marmalade. Just call me Mr. Marmalade. Emotional intelligence is all about understanding and dealing with emotions, yours and other people's. It's like having a special skill set that helps you handle your feelings and get along well with others. Here are the important parts of emotional intelligence. Self-awareness, the ability to recognize and understand your own emotions, strengths, weaknesses, and what makes you tick. Self-regulation, the ability to manage and control your impulses, emotions, and reactions in different situations, demonstrating adaptability and emotional resilience. Empathy, the ability to understand how others are feeling, putting yourself in their shoes and showing that you care. Social skills, the ability to be good with people, communicating well, making friends, and working out problems without getting into fights. That's right, I'm looking at you right there. And lastly, perhaps a surprising one, motivation, the drive to set goals, pursue personal growth, and keep going even when things get tough. Let's start off with the biggest misconception of them all, that being a feeling type means you are emotionally intelligent. Now sure, we may see correlations between feeling types and their ability to navigate emotional spaces, but being a feeling type, being ESFJ, being an ISFP doesn't make you automatically emotionally intelligent. On the flip side of that, there are thinking types who have high emotional intelligence. The only necessary difference between these two types is that an individual might lean more heavily on their feeling or their thinking during the decision-making process. That's it. Like, they're either more focused on the feelings, which isn't just emotion, but it's also values. It's also priorities. It's also just like, this, I can't put a reason on it, but it's just how I feel. Or they're relying on problem solving logically. Like, I'm just trying to get this to work, and I have reasons to back up my decision. Everybody uses both of those things when making a decision. It's just like, what tool are you going to rely on the most? All right, now say for example, we have an ENFP and an ISTJ, and both of them have a friend who's going through a hard time because they failed a class. They failed that, AP film history. I don't even. Your immediate assumption might be that the ENFP would be uplifting and encouraging and gentle, while the ISTJ would be more matter of fact and might even try to push the friend to work harder, just like bulldoze their emotions. In reality, both types could be emotionally intelligent or unintelligent in this situation. It's not a given. The emotionally intelligent ENFP will recognize that the class was important to their friend while encouraging them that things will work out somehow. The emotionally unintelligent ENFP, on the other hand, might disregard their friend's feelings by saying something like, they might just be like, it's just a dumb class, dude. You'll be okay. Who cares about school? School's for dummies anyway. You'll be okay. Let's have fun. Let's just take your mind off of it. Whatever. So the emotionally unintelligent ENFP thinks he's focusing on his friend's feelings by trying to make him feel better, but in reality, there's a big lack of empathy there in that example, if that wasn't clear. An emotionally intelligent ISTJ will know how to use tact and offer empathetic support to their friend. Hey man, I know you failed that class, and that's really rough, man, but I know if you work hard, you can get it next time. And hey, I can help you out. I can help you study for it. An emotionally unintelligent ISTJ, on the other hand, might just say something like, well, how much did you study? Only 4 hours? Well, you should have studied 8 hours. There's your problem. Both types want the friend to feel better and to get past the obstacle, but the feeling type would rather deal with the emotions directly and hope that that'll fix the problem later somehow, while the ISTJ, the thinking type, would rather deal with the problem directly and hope that that will fix the negative emotions later somehow. Neither approach is necessarily indicative of how high or low someone's emotional intelligence is. So while we can't make a blanket statement that feelers are emotionally intelligent and thinkers are not, it's reasonable to say that feelers get a little head start on thinkers when it comes to developing emotional intelligence. This goes back to the concept that feelers prefer to focus on emotions first, but thinkers do not. If all your life your first instinct is to pay attention to emotions, then there's a higher likelihood that you have a bit more experience in that area than someone who focuses on logical problem solving first. This might give you the impression that all people who are thinking types are doomed to struggle in emotional situations, but no, that's not true at all. First of all, many thinkers may be emotionally intelligent from a young age because they were raised by parents who emphasized the importance of empathy, social skills, self-regulation, etc. But on the flip side of that, there are many feelers who may not be very emotionally intelligent because their parents didn't teach them any of those skills and they never had the opportunity or interest in developing those skills on their own. Emotional intelligence is, after all, a collection of learned skills, not inborn traits. So no matter where you are on the scale of emotional intelligence, you can get better at it with a little practice. If a friend tells you about issues they're having at work and your first reaction is to start trying to solve the problem, that's good, but stop for a second and think, how is this going to make them feel? How is it going to be received emotionally? The TP types are usually great at problem solving, but this can come at the expense of their social skills. This is unfortunate because many TPs really want to help other people, but they might give up on trying to do that because making connections with others is so difficult for them. TJ types, on the other hand, tend to be great at working with others. As blunt as they may be sometimes, they usually find a way to balance their aggression with a bit of charm. The issue they struggle with most in terms of emotional intelligence is self-regulation. These types are infamous for blowing up seemingly out of nowhere. Now let's shift gears and talk about the feeling types and some of their unique struggles with emotional intelligence. Now, some feelers are so aware or sensitive to shifts in the emotions of those around them that they never say anything that could be interpreted as negative, even when it would be justified, like if someone was walking all over them. A feeler with too much empathy like this might tiptoe around everyone else and become an emotional punching bag for people who know that you're never going to say anything negative. But that's not really high emotional intelligence. That's just a sign that you need to develop your social skills, which includes being able to communicate your emotions to others effectively and resolve conflicts. It might feel emotionally intelligent to anticipate someone's emotional reaction and then bend yourself into a pretzel in order to avoid conflict, but a lot of times the emotionally intelligent thing to do is to recognize that while you should have empathy and sensitivity and respect the emotions of others, you can't allow yourself to feel responsible for how someone else acts. FP types are usually very attuned to their own emotions. Their biggest struggle with emotional intelligence is developing true empathy, especially in situations where other people make decisions that are contrary to an FP type's values. It's really easy to be empathetic when someone else is just like you and making decisions just like you would make them. It's much harder when they're making decisions that you would never make. FJ types are more attuned to others' emotions. Their big struggle with emotional intelligence is going to be self-awareness and motivation. A lot of FJ types are easily carried away by the emotions of people around them, which can cause them to lose sight of their own feelings and values. Similarly, the FJ types can feel lost when it comes to turning inward and focusing on themselves in order to pursue self-growth and to believe in themselves when things get tough. Thanks for watching, and until next time, stay cool and attractive.
They say strangers come to town.